head up, yeah. Like,
yeah. So I try to be very actively self-aware, trying not to copy on people because, like, my shit's been ripped off of wrestlers who aren't here anymore, or like, I mean, in Australia anymore, and
sure.
who I watched back in the day, or people that inspired me that don't really wrestle anymore. Like my what do you call it? My discus clothesline, Nigel McGuinness, like that kind of stuff. But what was I going to say? On these shows where people come, don't be afraid to go up and have a chat with them and explain the situation. Like, dude, this is my move sets. They've been here for a while. Here for a while. Can you not do this move, please? And most times when this conversation happens, it's because it's a person who hasn't been on that show before.
Yeah.
So the most likely result you're going to get is they're going to be like, "Oh, absolutely, man. Don't worry, I'll figure something else to do." Like,
yeah.
yeah.
And if you can't, like, then that's on you for not being creative enough to be able to. But like, in the same sense, like, I feel like if the performer who's been on that promotion for a longer time, then yeah, they should have precedent. Like, if you're just coming into that promotion as a one-off or new into the promotion, then yeah, you've got to like pay respect.
Yeah, 100%. Like, an example would be like if I went on a show, like, yeah, like if it can work both ways too. Like, if I hit a pile driver, I hit a discus lariat and stuff like that. Like, if I discus lariat, what else to do? I did the airplane. Now, Mark Davis used to do the airplane. If he came back to Australia and he said, "I'm going to hit the airplane," I'm like, you know what, man, that's cool. That's your move. I'm not going to do that.
I'll do. But I feel like everyone has sort of borrowed their shit from someone at some point in you know what I mean? Like, wrestling has been recycled so many times over. Like, so that's why like, when I see original shit, like I see something that I haven't seen in wrestling and I go, oh damn, yeah, that's pretty good. Like, but for the most part, like, I feel like if you've been even a fan of wrestling for long enough, like, and you're watching wrestling consistently, like, unless there's something spectacular that happens on a match or a card, you're not really going to be overly impressed. Like, you're not going to be going, oh wow, that was, you know what I mean? But like, you'll be like, oh, it's a wrestling show. But like, unless you see something overly spectacular because it's different, then you'll have people talking.
Yeah, 100%. And that's what's like nothing's unique that you have a claim to it. Like, if someone comes in, they want to hit a move that you already hit, you can have a conversation with them. If someone who's a big name that's like well known for it, you haven't got a fighting chance to convince them. You need to start like you need to be willing to be like, okay, I need to be creative now, like, and not do it. And it's been times like fuck me, if there was a match that had Mark Davis, Colt Cabana, Ryan Eagles with his discus lariat, and fucking who else? Like Bonza, like all that stuff. Who like I hit some moves from. Fuck me, I wouldn't have a move set. I'd just have to be. I would do a completely different wrestler. Like,
100%, 100%. But like, I feel like you would be like you're a creative enough person that you could sort of make anything work on it. Like, you'd be like, I can sort of work something out.
Yeah. I just be like I said to most of the guys here, just be willing to work differently if you have to. But like, no, what's the word? Like, no one remembers the moves unless the move is a gimmick. Like, to your character, I mean. Like, Outback Adam has the gator roll. Everyone's gonna know that because it suits his character. Do you know what I mean? No one's gonna remember the really cool move that doesn't get the 1, 2, 3. Like, people remember when Buddy Murphy won the fucking cruiserweight title.
Cruiserweight title, yeah.
I remember when that happened, and they were having a training session about moments and moves. What's the difference? And someone said Buddy Murphy winning the cruiserweight title, and I'm like, how does that work? Like, what do you mean by that? Tell me what he did in the match. And I legit went, I don't remember. All I remember is him hitting his finisher and winning the belt because that was a really big moment. And then they use that example, like, that's what you should be aiming for. I mean, I'm not saying go win a belt, but you need to find something that means more than a move in the match because people remember matches that way. Like, I remember Brock Lesnar versus Undertaker, Unforgiven 2002. You know why I remember that match? Because he threw fucking Brock Lesnar through the Unforgiven sign.
Yeah, but like but even like Kurt Angle versus Shane McMahon, like in that, like you know what I mean? That
Mm.
sort of thing. The only thing I remember in that match was him like trying to throw Shane through the fucking, or I think it was No Mercy or something like that, like trying to throw him through the No Mercy sign. Didn't work. Threw him again, and like
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like
Undertaker, Dead Men Rise, right there.
yeah,
Like another example. Like people remember, like who was, I can't remember who it was. I think it was like a good example would be Booker T versus Undertaker. Now this is getting really old here because I remember these matches, but I remember Booker T hitting his big scissor kick and then doing the fucking pose, and then the dead man rose up, and it was such a good moment because it was like, holy fuck, it's like kind of like reaction on his face.
well, that's where I think Booker T is one of those people, which is like his character work and reaction and facials. He's like always been so good. And like I heard him go, the only difference in my entrance when I'm a baby face and or a heel is like when I'm a baby face, I smile when I come out.
Yeah.
And he goes, and the only difference when I do a promo is when I'm a baby face, I direct my anger towards my opponent. But when I'm a heel, I direct my anger towards the audience.
It's really
And I'm
nice.
like, and it's just like, fuck. And you go back and watch him work as a heel and as a baby face, and you pay attention to that close thing, and you're like, holy shit, yeah, I can, yeah, now I notice it. But it's like when you're a fan, like when you're that sort of in the moment as a fan watching it, you kind of go like you don't see the intricacies of it.
Yeah, no, 100%. And that's the thing too. When I was a fan of wrestling, I didn't mind Booker T, but he wasn't really my favorite wrestler or one of my top favorite wrestlers.
Yeah.
When I learned wrestling and I watched him, he became one of my favorite wrestlers because I also I realized how charismatic he was. I also realized how fucking like not stiff, like I think Austin said it most, like the man can throw, like it
Yeah.
just looks like he's messing you up.
Yeah, 100%. Like he looks fucking brutal when he his strikes and everything he does. Like, but that's one of the things. Like I'm the same way. Like with Bobby the Brain Heenan. Like I was never like a massive Heenan fan, and like in the last probably year, like I've really sort of watched a lot of Bobby Heenan and just how he sort of delivers. But like I got shown a promo of Bobby Heenan's. It was like before he went to the Fed and like before he became the Brain. And he's like, you see him do this promo and he's like so young and he's like just becoming a manager. He goes, blah, blah, and he goes, because I am Bobby the Mind Heenan. And it's like you see, and I was like, he had something there, and like he just hadn't figured out what he was doing. You know what I mean? Like, and it's like you see certain wrestlers of as well. Like you can see when their character or their ring performance, like you can see they've got something there, but they just haven't really figured out what it is.